Hello and welcome to We Know Crypto, where the big names from the crypto sphere tell you what you need to know. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Today we'll be asking and answering the big question of why buy Bitcoin with one of the biggest names in the BTC space, Tone Vays.
Hey,
and in Canada, let's say hello to our very own John Doe.
What is up?
Welcome to the show. Tone, we know you love a prediction and looking into your crystal ball. It's been a tricky year. But before we dive in and get your views on where Bitcoin could be headed, do you think that we're at the end of the 4-year cycle that we have seen in the past? Or is this going to play out again?
So this has been a very weird cycle in that I do think this bear cycle is ending. And I only admitted that this is a bear cycle very recently. Doesn't help anyone because of this weird double top. And I think based on time alone, I'm expecting a bottom this year. If you've been on the fence on accumulating Bitcoin for the long term, this is probably your last chance to do it below $50,000. Because once it starts going up and another halving is coming, we're halfway towards that halving. And at the least, the hype of halving is coming is going to push the prices up. So, and we're going to start hearing that on the back end of next year that the halving is here soon. So this is the time to start accumulating Bitcoin. This is that last push of converting a decent chunk of your paycheck into Bitcoin so that in 3 to 4 years, you don't need that paycheck anymore. So this is my overall general advice. But how sure am I that we already have a bottom? I honestly have no idea. But once the price of Bitcoin goes above 40,000, I think it's off to the races. And 100 to 200 is going to get there super quick. People have to remember that when Bitcoin dropped from April, when it hit 65 in April, and then it fell to 30 in July, it only took 2 months to double in price. From 30 to 68, it took 2 months. It started at the end of July, and it did top in November, but it moved up super quick. So once we, break out into a new bull trend above 40, we could be at 200 within 3 to 6 months.
Exactly. And I know you made a few predictions over the years. But with your view on the world, everything that's happening, do you still think it's possible we could see Bitcoin drop below 10,000 for a short period of time based on whatever happens, and then we get up to 100,000, 200,000? Or do you think Bitcoin is kind of safe to any major global events right now to establish that?
I think it's fairly safe. There's only one metric that makes me believe that this is possible, and that's the fact that it's still super cheap for miners to mine Bitcoin. If you are a really efficient miner, you're probably still mining Bitcoin under $10,000. So that metric alone makes me believe that it's possible only because it doesn't actually endanger Bitcoin. Now, dropping there for an hour probably will not be any kind of problems. But dropping below 10,000 for, let's say, 3 weeks in a row, that's a concern. That's a serious concern. What's my probability that we drop below 10,000? I'd say 5 to 10%. And that's for a short amount of time. Probability that we fall there for a long period of time, meaning a month, probably less than 1%. It's very unlikely.
This is the interesting challenge, isn't it? Because, Michael Burry posted on Twitter the other day under his handle Cassandra, which I think he deleted, but he posted the US household savings, which have dropped now. So after all the stimulus checks and everything else, people have spent that money and run out of cash. So for retail to come back in, it feels like at least the masses and the wave has got a little bit of time to recover. So do you think it's institutions that are going to come in and propel that first wave while retail gets its house in order?
You'd be surprised how much wealth people still have. You realize it when on a Friday night you want to go to a nice restaurant and you can't get a table. So I don't know. There's still a lot of wealth slushing around. There just is. There always is. And also for Bitcoin to go down that low, something else has happened, right? Like when Bitcoin crashed to 4,000 during COVID, it was COVID. Stock market crashed too, right? So there are other things happening. There's some kind of panic going on. And there's just too many global events that will cause Bitcoin to skyrocket. The breakup of the European Common Currency, the potential breakup of the United States, the elimination of cash in a major country. There are lots of these major events. I am still surprised that after Tesla got into Bitcoin and Square and MicroStrategies, of course, that other corporations have not done so yet, but I think they will. Time eventually catches up. Bitcoin is now 13 years old. Give it 3 or 4 more years. You will now have a whole generation of people that have entered the workforce and making money that have grew up with Bitcoin the way you guys grew up with the internet. Like, it's just there. It's not going anywhere, and you trust it, and it's secure for you. It's coming. Like, the big wave to the upside is coming. And once it starts moving, if you're going to say, oh, I'll buy the pullback, that pullback may not come until it tops in like a $250,000 range.
Yeah. So what are you thinking? Like 10 years from now, where do you place Bitcoin with all these new people coming in from the workforce? What's that like? And institutions, companies.
10 years from now, I would expect Bitcoin to cross $500,000 a coin within the next 10 years at some point. And I would also expect Bitcoin to never go below 100,000. Like 10 years from now, $100,000 becomes the new 10,000, right? That's my view. So those are like my low end points. I just don't want to be, too. I don't want to be too moonish here. But 10 years from now, man, do I expect the world to be different. Very different. So, yeah, long term, I'm incredibly bullish on Bitcoin. Incredibly bullish.
I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And keep a lookout for more We Know Crypto videos with our guest, Tone Vays.